The Joe Rogan Experience.
I wanted to talk to you about this. Is a little bit of a deviation, but it's not really. I wanted to talk to you about Theranos because I am fucking completely obsessed with that lady and her scam company.
Dude, did you know that I was almost the chief medical officer of that company?
Oh, no.
Yeah, dude. So in 2006, my McKinsey office, which was in Palo Alto, was on Page Mill, which was one street over from where Theranos was located. So Theranos at the time was a super small company. So a good friend of mine, his father-in-law was on the board and knew Elizabeth Holmes very well. He was her professor at Stanford. And the company was small at that time. It's like maybe 30 people there, something like that. And he said, look, I want you, my friend, to potentially look at this company, and because they could really use a CFO. And he was in private equity at the time, really smart guy. And to make a long story short, I got introduced to Elizabeth. So I went down and had lunch with her one day.
Did you ever catch her talking in a real voice?
You know, it's so I don't remember. I met her later, and she already had the fake voice, but I can't remember that day what her voice was like. I wish I could remember, but it's like 15 years ago, right?
I would remember if it was weird. Like, if
I don't think it was. I think it must have been.
If she talked like this, I would say, "What is going on?
Yeah.
Have you had throat cancer?
I don't think.
What are you doing?"
I think she must have been talking in a normal voice. But here's what interested me. I sat down in the office, and she pulled out a black box that was, I don't know if it was called Edison at the time or if it was the precursor to what would become Edison. Diagnostics is not something I knew a ton about, but I'd spent 2 years at the NIH, and I certainly understand how chemical reagents work, and I understand how chemical assays work. And I know how, for example, an ELISA works. An ELISA is a type of assay that you do to measure something, but it requires a lot of washing and rinsing and repeating. And I know that many biomarkers that are of interest, for example, something like insulin, if you want to measure a person's insulin level, you have to do these types of assays, right? So I was saying to her, Elizabeth, I don't understand how you could put a drop of blood in here and get anything out that's more interesting than glucose, hemoglobin, sodium, and potassium, the really simple things that can work, that can be measured off a drop of blood. And she kind of gave me some answer. And I said, well, can I see the inside of the box? And she said, absolutely not. And I said, well, I've signed an NDA. I had to sign an NDA to get in the building. And she was like, no. So I just decided I wasn't interested in the company because I couldn't get sort of straight answers from her. So I ended up not doing it. So fast forward to this was 2006. Fast forward to 2015, she's now on the cover of Forbes. And
you're like,
Well, no. I remember one day saying to my wife, because she was on the cover of Forbes, and the company was valued a little over $9 billion. And I said to my wife, do you know how much we would be worth if I had taken that job now? And she's like, how much? And I told her, and she's like, good God. And I'm at the Vanity Fair event in San Francisco. I didn't know it at the time. This was a week before the Wall Street Journal article would fall, John Carrio's article that was the one that kind of unraveled all of Theranos in October of 2015. And
how did he figure it out? How did this one guy figure out that it was all
So I haven't read his book, Bad Blood, but I saw the documentary, so that's like a poor man's version of it. But basically just interviewing people who were formerly employees of the company.
Oh, so they were bean spillers.
Yeah. And they were basically like, yeah, this is a total scam.
Oh, my God.
And so sure enough, I'm at this reception because she's the speaker of the event. So she's like, it's a 4-day conference, and she's the one everyone is there to see. So I'm sitting at a table, and I'm having a cocktail, and she walks up, and I said, hey, Elizabeth, you probably don't remember me. She goes, no, I remember you exactly. And she remembered my name and even remembered how I had been introduced to her. I was like really blown away. We exchanged pleasantries. She gave me her card. And then a week later, it all unraveled. And it's really funny. I still have the card.
You should frame it.
Yeah.
She must have known that the shit was hitting the fan.
No, she totally did. Yeah. Because the shit was hitting the fan 6 months earlier.
What does one do? And it's not like you can liquidate, right? Like if you're worth $9 billion, but it's all stock, and the product is nonsense, you can't even get out. So
well, it's a private company, so at best, she could have along the way been doing secondaries off her take, but
so it wasn't even. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated that she wouldn't let you look into the box, Because I guess if you looked into the box, you would immediately be able to be.
I don't know that I would have. I don't want to overstate my credentials. I'm not a clinical chemist. She could have duped me, I'm sure, but she didn't. I mean, and again, we're under NDA. We're talking about me joining her company as a chief medical officer. Like,
Right.
how are you not going to let me see inside this freaking box? Like, what do you want? How am I going to do my job?
How could she have duped you though, if she's not technically astute? Like, she doesn't really understand.
I don't know. She could. I mean, look, she presumably duped people smarter than me,
I
right?
think she duped. This is what drives me crazy. I think she duped people from the image. I think they wanted to believe. They wanted to believe that here was this female wunderkind who left Stanford at 19 years old, dropped out of school, and figured out this amazing technology, and along the way became, at least until she got busted, the richest self-made woman ever. She was worth, I think, like her own
$4.5 billion.
Yeah. Crazy. And she just faked it. And one of the ways she got busted was people from college that she went to school with were like, why are you talking like that? Like, what's happening? And then people started hearing that wasn't her real voice. And then people started, like, there were rumors and murmurs. There's so many layers to that story.
Oh, man, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. It really is. It's such an interesting story. So for you, when all that was going down, that must have been incredibly sweet. Because now you don't have to think, man, I missed out on all that money.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also, I felt a little bit validated. Like, okay, there was a reason she didn't want to show me the inside of the box.
Right. Yeah.
It might have been empty. It literally might have been empty.
There was candy in there.
It's a giant, like, little thing. Yeah.
Dude, she got so many people. She got Betsy DeVos for like $100 million.
And poor General Mattis, the guy didn't have 2 nickels to rub together when he gets out of the military. He put like a couple $100K in or something obscene for him.
Yeah. Fuck. Crazy. Whenever someone comes to me, like some guy came to me with some crazy, I mean, I don't know if it's real, so I don't want to talk about it, like say it specifically, but if it's true, it sounds like this guy's going to revolutionize a form of travel. And so he's telling me about this. I was like, wow. And then I said to my business manager who was with me at the time, I go, don't ever forget about Theranos. Whenever someone tells you something, the moment someone tells me, I go, yeah. When it happens, I'll believe you. I don't want to be involved in any groundbreaking shit before it actually launches, especially in some area where I'm completely ignorant. And what am I to do? Just start going to school, try to figure out engineering, to try to think if this guy is saying something that's actually possible and plausible? No, can't do it. Not interested, buddy. So for you, though, when it did come out, though, there had to be like a cool feeling of satisfaction. There had to be a little something there where you're like, oh.
I mean, the first person I called was my buddy, the guy who had introduced me to her way back. And I was like, dude, what are the dinner conversations like? And he's like, oh, dude, it's not good. Because his father-in-law was still in the believing camp.
Oh, no. So they talk about him in the, yeah. Oh, fuck.
So it was.
So he got duped long after the jig was up, right?
Yeah. I again, I don't know the details, but it was, I was like, man.
Fuck.
It's good that we didn't do that, but.
Watch the entire episode for free only on Spotify.